Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics. That's not classic. This is episode number 948 and Doubleshot number 842. This is the first of two comic corners in a row I'm going to do because there's another one coming up. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done like two in a row. When was the last time I did that? Last year, because most of the time I just do live anime stuff. Okay, with this particular review, I'm reviewing volumes 2 and 3 of All New Invaders. First, let's start with Volume 2, Original Sin. Yes, the first couple issues of this storyline is a tie-in to Original Sin. It's mostly put this new character, Rimiko, who's the granddaughter of a member of the Kid Commandos. Those who know who the heck the Kid Commandos are, they are simply put a group of teenage superheroes who operated in World War II. They're actually one of 3 superhero groups, surprisingly, who operated at that period of time, along with the original Invaders and the Liberty Legion. And in case you're wondering, has there been any reunions of Kid Commandos in modern day? The answer is no. There never has been. Yeah, the group was mainly had basically just the Bucky Barnes, the original one. It also had Toro, the psychic Human Torch, and a few other superheroes, one of whom is the grandmother of this new character, Rimiko, where it's revealed that apparently, because of the original Sin stuff, and this is told via flashback and another flashback, that apparently he knew about the bomb at Hiroshima, and he could have stopped it, but he didn't. There's also a reference of him killing Adolf Hitler. Yes. Though this has been disputed in Marvel Comics, it's been said that it's been claims that he has killed Adolf Hitler. There's been another claim that the Winter Soldier has killed him. Yes, Bucky Barnes himself basically has killed Adolf Hitler. Yep. And of course, the whole story is that Rimiko takes group of SHIELD agents hostage because she found out basically the original Sin stuff. Though I'm thinking, was she actually in New York when this happened? Because according to the original Sin comic book, it just affected the people in the immediate vicinity. It did not affect the whole freaking planet. As for how the heck she found out about this, it's completely bizarre. Yeah, it's never explained of how in the world she basically got how this memory got awakened. Yes, unlike, let's say, with the other characters who had tie-ins, at least in the case of this one, there's no way she could have been there, because if you read Original Sin, she is nowhere in that event at all, and yes, she's here in this tie-in. But of course, this does lead to basically the storyline itself, with the whole thing like an alien, and of course we also have the ending of Human Torch turning against S.H.I.E.L.D., though he actually joined S.H.I.E.L.D. at the start of the storyline, wearing simply put, his variant for the S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform, which I gotta say, the uniform is great for him. And he wears it for a pretty good period of time. Yep. Let me show up. Now, first we have Radiance. She's the brand new superhero. In case you're wondering, does she appear after the series ends? Nope, she does not. We see, you can see her backstory and a little bit basically of the character. Now here's basically what the Human Torch's shield outfit looks like. It's pretty much the same design Nick Fury is wearing, Nick Fury Jr., which is basically the super soldier costume, but it's red and gold with a fire style. Yeah, that's simply his style, and he wears this up until very recently. Oh yeah, and what's the position with S.H.I.E.L.D.? He's pretty much in charge of Camp Hammond. Yes, Camp Hammond. Though it's no longer used as a... The thing about this particular place is, I should point out though, it is no longer used to train new superheroes. Yeah, the place was actually shut down thanks to Dark Reign, though it's still active for some reason. So basically, Jim Hammond is basically in charge of an empty facility, though he briefly had the Future Foundation stay there. And of course, the person he was telling the flashback to, which happened just prior to this, somehow, and then of course the person he's telling it to was actually, believe it or not, an alien. Yep. And then, of course, this later on leads into him and the Invaders taking on a bunch of Deathlocks. Yep. One of whom happened to be Luther Manning. Yep. Oh, and by the way, now they do reference in here the fact that Captain America has met Luther Manning. Yes, this happened in a 3-part storyline that happened back in the 70s. Yep, in the storyline, yeah, as far as I can tell, it has been collected in the original Deathlock trade. The Deathlock, the one that collects like all the adventures of the Luther Manning Deathlock. Though I should point out, though, the Luther Manning Deathlock has been dead since the pages of the original Marvel 2 one. He's been dead since I think since 1980. He's been dead for a good period of time. Yeah, he got killed off during the whole Project Pegasus stuff during World War II one. And this is probably set from his perspective, probably before he died. Yeah. And then, of course, that leads to the whole... And, of course, this whole thing with the Deathlocks leads to the debut of another brand new character aside from Radiance herself. A woman who happens to be the daughter of... And I kid you not, she's a daughter of a person who fought the Invaders back in World War II. Sliding time scale. Yep. This woman... Let's see here. If I can find it. Yeah, she shows up in the storyline as far as I know. Yep. Let's see. There's also a brief cameo by the Illuminati. Yeah, this is a mild reference to Hickman's Illuminati, which this lineup consists of Black Bolt, the Beast from the X-Men, basically taking place at Charles Xavier, Reed Richards. By the way, in case you're wondering about that red costume, yeah, believe it or not, when Robinson was writing Fantastic Four at that point in time, this is the costume he wore, that Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four wore when they came back home from space from that Fractions run. A run he actually left before the run was actually over. Of course, have Black Panther, who actually originally turned down a spot on this team. Yes. We also have Iron Man, of course, Namor. Yep. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, there's also brief backs. Of course, we also have the android, the Jim Hammond psychic Toro. He shows up here as well. And they actually have a mild retcon for him. A retcon that was not very popular. Yes. But one particular person, they retcon now. Originally, Toro, the psychic of the Human Torch, was revealed to be a mutant. This was basically established fact for years. And then they retconned it where he was an Inhuman. For some reason. Yeah, it's never explained of how in the world this is. Let's see. Where? I think I just passed her. Let's see. Yeah, it's somebody that Namor finds. Yes. A woman that Namor himself finds. Now, this is actually set just after the events of... Here she is. Meet the second Iron Cross. Yes. Curious, though, about the Iron Cross. It's basically, in a way, a German Iron Man. That's simply put what Iron Cross is. She did have her own version of the Iron Cross costume. Now, here's the thing about her. She is Inhuman. Yes. Those who have been curious, how the heck did she turn up like this if she's Inhuman? Well, apparently, the way Inhuman genes work, if you're near a particular something, you merge with it, and that becomes part of your power. For her, she was inside her Iron Cross suit, and she turned into this. Yep, she turned to this. Oh yeah, and later on, she basically tells Namor she loves him. Yeah, apparently she owes him a favor for basically preventing her father to be executed for war crimes. Okay. I get the fact, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. Fine. Oh yeah, and she apparently been captured by the person running this facility, which apparently had this device that apparently brought in like almost every single Ultra version of Deathlock, well, the Luther Manning Deathlock in existence, a lot of whom basically were never seen before or after the storyline, just Luther Manning himself. There's also a reference to, now the alien, now the leader of this particular group was supposed to be an alien, and there's a reference to Kazar in here. Yes, Kazar. Not Kazar, Killraven. Yes, Killraven. Curious about him, he was a character who appeared in the pages of Amazing Adventures after, I believe it was after Beast wrapped up his feature for the book, and that became typically his book for about 2 years. Yeah, he took over with issue number 18, and his feature ended with issue 39. He did appear once outside of the feature in an issue of Marvel Team Up when Spider-Man time traveled to his timeline somehow. Yeah, that was thanks to Doctor Doom's time. His is basically a surfboard time machine. Yeah, a big flat surfboard. That simply was his time machine. It's been used many times over the years, and I think the last time I can think of showed was back. I think it was back in the pages of Deadpool. Yep. As for how Captain America knows Killraven, this is something that's I don't know how in the world this happened, because the only character who actually I do have a theory of how he may have met him. Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah, during his era, he actually I think that's when he had Captain America meet Killraven, but probably not during the original publication where this character goes around. His last known appearance prior to the show up in Bendis' Avengers run from 2010 was actually in a one-shot published in 2001. And of course, the ending of the hits was up next storyline, the next arc for the series. The Martians are coming. Yeah, but this book, I'm giving this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Now we come to the final trait of the storyline. Of course, also at the end of this one, Human Torch goes freaking nuts and claims some Age of Nothing. And of course, we have a rematch between him and Namor the Submariner. Yeah, the whole thing with this, I should point out though, is actually a nod to the very first Marvel comic crossover. Yeah, here's the cover for issue number 11. If you look up basically, I think it was issue number 6 of Marvel Mystery Comics. That was, in case you're wondering how Marvel got his name, it was from that comic book. Yes, and these two were featured in technically the first ever comic book crossover of Marvel Comics, having these two basically fight each other for a 2-part story. In the pages of, well, that particular book, they had the stories cross over, and that's pretty much considered to be kind of the first ever comic crossover. I found this out thanks to Comic Superheroes Unmasked. Yeah, it's a 2-hour documentary. It's fantastic. You got it. Even though they take liberties, basically, when it comes to the history of the comic industry prior to that. And the guy who does narration for that is the same guy who voices Spawn from the Spawn animated series in the late 1990s. Not the live action film with Michael J. White. That's a completely different thing altogether. I'm talking about the animated series from HBO. Yeah, it's the same guy who voiced that guy. That Spawn. What was the narrator of this documentary. We also have a flashback sequence, this awesome sequence basically featuring a bunch of World War I era characters. We have an old version of Union Jack. I think it's the first official one. They also have the present day one show up here as well with Spitfire. We also have the Phantom Eagle, Sir Savage, and those who be curious though, okay, we have Iron Fist with guns. Yeah, that's not Danny Rand. That's actually Orson Randall, his predecessor, who actually he's a creation of Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, and David Aja. His most recent appearance was actually in the final arc of the previous Iron Fist ongoing series ended last year. And I do not know why the book ended for. Even Mike Perkins was puzzled why the heck the book ended for. I spoke about that. Yep, the whole thing with this is that you have, well, the Invaders fighting Martians in London. It had a flashback of them fighting these Martians in London during the year World War One. Though for some reason, I'm not sure why this is, they actually have the tripods, the Martians from the War of the Worlds storyline. Yeah, so basically, this is Robinson's attempt to do a homage to War of the Worlds. Yeah, though it's probably better than what Spielberg and Tom Cruise came up with in 2005. Yeah, I of course never seen that film anyways. I've never seen any version of War. At the top of my head, I don't think I've seen a version of War of the Worlds. I don't think so. No, I've heard of the story, and I've heard snippets of the classic radio story done by the late Orson Welles. One that got him a lot of flack because he was telling the story via this radio show, and this thing invasion, of course, people tuning in late, and caused a humongous ruckus over a fake alien invasion. How did I find about that one? It was a documentary about Orson Welles. That's basically how I found out about that. But in the case of this, we also have, Killraven show up to team up with Bucky Barnes, who's supposed to be dead, the Winter Soldier, and these British superheroes, one of whom happens to be Spitfire. Yeah, Spitfire, one of her very rare appearances she makes in the comic books. That's the weird thing about Spitfire. She very rarely shows up. She's a great character, and by the way, in case you're curious though, she's actually Blade's girlfriend. Yep, a relationship that's barely gone anywhere. Yep, and by the way, Spitfire is a vampire. Now here's the thing. This is the same Spitfire who fought back in World War II. And they're thinking, okay, she fought in World War II, and of course you have Marvel's sliding time scale. Wouldn't she be old lady by now? Yes. But guess what her secret is of being young? She got a blood transfusion from Jim Hammett, of all people. Yes, she got a blood transfusion from him, and that turned her to be a smoking hot woman. And could also date younger guys. Though she dated Blade, who was roughly about 30 years, I would say about 20 years younger than she is. Yeah, she's a woman probably supposed to be in her 70s, but she looks great for her age. And of course, Mike Perkins did a fantastic job interpreting her in the pages of Captain America. Yep. And of course, we also did the storyline started off with, well, aside from, well, the whole thing with everybody chasing Human Torch, we also have Captain America turning old off screen. Yeah, in case you're curious though, this was the lineup on the cover of this book. This is the lineup at the end of this particular series, which is basically consisted of Namor, Old Man Steve Rogers, the Sam Wilson Captain America, the second Iron Cross, Radiance, Winter Soldier, and the original Human Torch. Yep, this was the lineup, but the series ended. Also, they have reference what happened in the pages of Captain America with Captain America turning old. Yeah, those of you curious, okay, you read this book like, when the heck did Captain America turn old? Read the Iron Nail storyline. That basically has when it happened. Of course, this book doesn't bother to reference that at all. Nope. And so this takes place from what I can tell for the start of the storyline. Despite the fact you have all this stuff going on. Apparently, between issues, we had the conclusion of Original Sin. We had the stuff with Captain America turning old. We had the last arc of the Captain America Volume 7 run. And, of course, we had probably Access. Yep. We have a whole thing of fighting more aliens. And then, of course, the series ends with the original 4 Invaders. Steve Rogers, Winter Soldier, Namor, and the Human Torch standing on a shield helicarrier over the ocean. And Steve Rogers reveals this is actually the place where, believe it or not, what the Avengers founded back in Avengers number 4. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, is there an editorial note to mitigate this? No! I have no idea why Marvel couldn't put these in here. I mean, I love editorial notes. Basically, it gets Marvel a key to basically go. Now, they do have one editorial note basically to the classic Invaders book from the 70s by Roy Thomas, but anything happened, let's say, further back than that, or after that, nope. And of course, also Steve Rogers points out in here that he's been stripped of the serum before, but he's never turned old before. Yep, and by the end of the issue, it's implied the Invaders disband. Yep, the Invaders disband. And the series has gone for about 4 years. Yep, right back 4 years later by Chip Zdarsky. It's a pretty good book. I highly recommend it, the current book. Now, what happened to a lot of these people afterwards? Well, what about Jim Hammond? Let's talk about Jim Hammond, the guy who basically kind of sparked this whole series start. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Captain America was constantly appearing in comic books even after this. So, yeah. Basically, not much to tell about him because he's still appearing this very day, though he got de-aged. And then, of course, that particular Captain America was revealed to be a Hydra agent. And, let's see, what else? And, oh, yeah, that there was another Captain America. Was very confusing with Secret Empire. Yeah, he basically went through a lot of crazy stuff the past few years when it comes to Steve Rogers. Okay, what about Winter Soldier? Well, he got a brief solo title after this. That lasted for like a year. Got canceled, though I don't think anybody knew about it. And then he showed up during the event's Avengers Standoff, a really awesome event by Nick Spencer. And after the event wrapped up, he basically became the leader of the Thunderbolts, where he pretty much reunited mostly the original lineup minus Songbird and Baron Zemo. It was a great run. Too bad it got canceled to make room for Secret Empire, where he got captured in the last issue by Hydra Cap, shot on a plane and exploded, Which, oh, I should also point out, he also got a new arm during that run. Yeah, the original arm he got during every big of Mike Perkins, like Winter Soldier story. Yeah, he actually got rid of that arm, got a new arm, which is actually a lot more lighter than that one. It was actually revealed kind of heavy. Yep. And of course, there was some problems I had with basically when he was revealed to be alive. Yeah, I knew he was alive. I mean, it was very heavily suspected. I mean, you strap it, you chain this guy, Hydra Cap chains up Winter Soldier to an exploding plane. Yes, an exploding plane. And does he forget he has a metal arm where he can easily just break out of that? Let's have him apparently die. And then somehow come back, though it's never shown how the Atlanteans found him. Yeah, that is never explained the whole entire event. And then, like, right after the event, of course, he did nothing afterwards. I would love to see him beat the crap out of Hydra Cap, but he did nothing. Yeah, what a waste of time apparently killing him off just to bring him back. What did he do after Secret Empire? Well, he appeared in the pages of Tales of Suspense, which was a Matthew Rosenberg book, which is fantastic. I kind of wish this was an ongoing series because I love the chemistry between him and Hawkeye. This was fantastic. I really wish it was an ongoing series. He popped up recently in a couple issues of Unstoppable Wasp. Great idea. Apparently she knew him because about the guy with the metal arm who has a red star in it. So she kind of implied she knew him. And of course, he had a brief mini-series where he basically continued with another, like, stuff remnants of the Red Room, which was quite nice. It's a great mini-series by Kyle Higgins. I highly recommend it. I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much it when it comes to Winter Soldier. Namor, of course, after this, well, after Secret Wars, he got killed by the Squadron Supreme at the start of their book. Came back a year later, did pretty much almost jack frickin' squat since then, and then he decided to join the X-Men, rejoin the X-Men for some reason. Yeah, he rejoined during Tom Taylor's Amazing X-Men Red run, and then after that, he did nothing. Yes, Namor did nothing. Okay, what about the Human Torch? Well, after this, aside from appearing in, like, one issue of Fantastic Four, on top of my head, the guy has done virtually nothing. Yes. The guy himself is, at the top of my head, has not made a return in quite some time. It has been, like, 4 years since the series ended, and the guy has done virtually nothing. Okay. But what about the rest of the characters in this book? Well, Radiant's Iron Cross, never seen again after this series because, oh, God forbid we do anything with these two characters. Oh, yeah, we have, also, during the event of this book, it's also have Axis. I basically read that because you have Medusa still with her long red hair thing. Yeah, that wears her long red hair, her sentient hair basically tied in a long ponytail. Yeah, that was from Access. And that was a continuation, though she basically got fixed and converted afterwards. Yeah, there were two hanging plot threads when this series ended. One, of course, was up with the God Whisperer. Also forgot to mention, Tara the Pursuer showed up in here for a couple of issues. Shows up in issue 13, who explains her backstory, teams up with Eternal. And then, of course, shows up in last issue, and that's all you see of her. Yeah, the stuff with the God Whisperer was never explained. Yeah, that plot thread was left hanging. And the stuff with the Martians. Yes, I kind of thought maybe Robinson was hoping that because series ending, maybe somebody would continue the plot thread where he left off. Nope, not at all. It's like nobody at Marvel cared at all. Also, okay, now I'm going to deal with my final thoughts in this series. Now, I took off the shelf basically the first trade. These are all 3 trades that collect this short-lived ongoing series. A really good series that had to end because of Secret Wars. Now, I thought after Secret Wars this series would resume. Nope, it did not. It just ended. No announcement, nothing. I think it may have been canceled low sales, but Marvel made no announcement about it. Nope. The book just stopped. Yes, that's one of the biggest problems Marvel has had for, I would say, since 2012, where a lot of the time when these books end, they just end. A lot of the time they don't give a notice at all. These books just abruptly end. Like, there's no announcement about it at all. I mean, the last book I can think of who got an announcement got canceled was the books that got canceled early last year. But aside from that, nothing. Yeah, Marvel, in my honest opinion, are terrible marketing their books. It's possible this book was canceled low sales, but I have no idea. I know one YouTuber actually dropped this book after the original Sin tie-in because he was so confused about the flashbacks. I'm like, really, dude, what the heck is your problem? I'm not gonna mention his name, but him I'm good speaking terms with, and I'm Facebook friends with him. But I do disagree with his opinion when it comes to original Sin tie-in. I actually find it quite interesting. So yeah, even though Robbins himself will basically be the writer throughout this whole entire series, this particular person, Steve Ploog, yes, he was the artist for pretty much the entire series. Yes, the entire series, this guy is generally the artist, or at least a co-artist with some other artists. Yeah, but this series is fantastic. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of James Robinson or basically, well, of these characters. Now, when I initially first heard about the announcement that he was basically doing this particular series, I was hyped. Why? Because one, I love James Robinson's work. Two, the Invaders are kind of in the way Marvel's take on the JSA. So Robinson has written the JSA in the past, and plus he loves writing Golden Age superheroes and basically make them awesome. So I figured though, why not check it out? And it's amazing on how this book is. But when the book ended, I'm like, okay, you end the book and don't tell anybody about it. It's kind of the same thing with that book, Carnage. Yep. But yeah, that's really it for this particular review when it comes to this comic corner. But I do recommend everybody check out this series. It is amazing. Okay? Yes, you may not know who some of these characters are, but at least Robinson bothers to explain who these characters are. I mean, people know who Captain America and Winter Soldier are. That's not going to be a problem. But in the case of Jim Hammond, unless the cursory Rick Commander's Secret Avengers one, you probably don't know why he shows up in this town. But at least Robinson explains who he is. Namor people kind of know who he is, but I would figure though people pick this up mainly because of Captain America. Yep, me because I love this group. That's the reason why I got this. And now I picked this one up from Ollie's for about $6. These two books right here, volumes 2 and 3, I expect these up at the past Comic-Con I went to. I was so happy. Like, I saw these books, I'm like, yes, I'm taking home, and these books only cost me $5. Yeah, surprisingly $5. I was surprised to see they cost that much. Yep. So yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Excuse me. Now, I have another comic corner we're going to do next, and it's a review of Laura McKinley, aka Wolverine. You'll hear my thoughts on her first two trades. Okay? Until I see you next review. Bye.